The Love Letters of Mary Wollstonecraft, Part 7, Letters 59 to 70. In the last part, determination had replaced despair. Now the story draws closer to its conclusion, one letter at a time. You may occasionally hear an unfinished name, or only a title, such as Mr. or Doctor. Those omissions are part of the surviving historical text, where certain names were removed by later editors. They have been preserved exactly as they appear in the original publication. Every uncertainty, every heartbreak, remains exactly as she left it more than 2 centuries ago. Welcome to She Reads Tales, and now, her love letters. Letter 59. Tonsberg, July 18th, 1795. I am here in Tonsberg, separated from my child. And here I must remain a month at least, or I might as well never have come. I have begun, which will, I hope, discharge all my obligations of a pecuniary kind. I am lowered in my own eyes on account of my not having done it sooner. I shall make no further comments on your silence. God bless you, Mary. Letter 60. Tonsberg, July 30th, 1795. I have just received 2 of your letters, dated the 26th and 30th of June. And you must have received several from me, informing you of my detention and how much I was hurt by your silence. Write to me then, my friend, and write explicitly. I have suffered, God knows, since I left you. You have never felt this kind of sickness of heart. My mind, however, is at present painfully active, and the sympathy I feel almost rises to agony. But this is not a subject of complaint. It has afforded me pleasure, and reflected pleasure is all I have to hope for, if a spark of hope be yet alive in my forlorn bosom. I will try to write with a degree of composure. I wish for us to live together, because I want you to acquire an habitual tenderness for my poor girl. I cannot bear to think of leaving her alone in the world, or that she should only be protected by your sense of duty. Next to preserving her, my most earnest wish is not to disturb your peace. I have nothing to expect and little to fear in life. There are wounds that can never be healed, but they may be allowed to fester in silence without wincing. When we meet again, you shall be convinced that I have more resolution than you give me credit for. I will not torment you. If I am destined always to be disappointed and unhappy, I will conceal the anguish I cannot dissipate, and the tightened cord of life or reason will at last snap and set me free. Yes, I shall be happy. This heart is worthy of the bliss its feelings anticipate, and I cannot even persuade myself, wretched as they have made me, that my principles and sentiments are not founded in nature and truth. But to have done with these subjects, I have been seriously employed in this way since I came to Tonsberg, yet I never was so much in the air. I walk, I ride on horseback, row, bathe, and even sleep in the fields. My health is consequently improved. The child, informs me, is well. I long to be with her. Write to me immediately, were I only to think of myself. I could wish you to return to me, poor, with the simplicity of character, part of which you seem lately to have lost, that first attached to you. Yours most affectionately, Mary Imlay. I have been subscribing other letters, so I mechanically did the same to yours. Letter 61. Tonsberg, August 5th, 1795. Employment and exercise have been of great service to me. and I have entirely recovered the strength and activity I lost during the time of my nursing. I have seldom been in better health, and my mind, though trembling to the touch of anguish, is calmer, yet still the same. I have, it is true, enjoyed some tranquility and more happiness here than for a long, long time past. I say happiness, for I can give no other appellation to the exquisite delight this wild country and fine summer have afforded me. Still, on examining my heart, I find that it is so constituted, I cannot live without some particular affection. I am afraid not without a passion, and I feel the want of it more in society than in solitude. Writing to you, whenever an affectionate epithet occurs, my eyes fill with tears and my trembling hand stops. You may then depend on my resolution when with you. If I am doomed to be unhappy, I will confine my anguish in my own bosom. Tenderness, rather than passion, has made me sometimes overlook delicacy. The same tenderness will in future restrain me. God bless you. Letter 62. Tonsberg, August 7th, 1795. Air, exercise, and bathing have restored me to health, braced my muscles, and covered my ribs, even whilst I have recovered my former activity. I cannot tell you that my mind is calm, though I have snatched some moments of exquisite delight, wandering through the woods and resting on the rocks. This state of suspense, my friend, is intolerable. We must determine on something, and soon. We must meet shortly or part forever. I am sensible that I acted foolishly, but I was wretched when we were together. Expecting too much, I let the pleasure I might have caught slip from me. I cannot live with you. I ought not, if you form another attachment. But I promise you, mine shall not be intruded on you. Little reason have I to expect a shadow of happiness after the cruel disappointments that have rent my heart. But that of my child seems to depend on our being together. Still, I do not wish you to sacrifice a chance of enjoyment for an uncertain good. I feel a conviction that I can provide for her, and it shall be my object, if we are indeed to part, to meet no more. Her affection must not be divided. She must be a comfort to me, if I am to have no other, and only know me as her support. I feel that I cannot endure the anguish of corresponding with you if we are only to correspond. No, if you seek for happiness elsewhere, my letters shall not interrupt your repose. I will be dead to you. I cannot express to you what pain it gives me to write about an eternal separation. You must determine, examine yourself, but for God's sake, spare me the anxiety of uncertainty. I may sink under the trial, but I will not complain. Adieu. If I had anything more to say to you, it is all flown, and absorbed by the most tormenting apprehensions. Yet I scarcely know what new form of misery I have to dread. I ought to beg your pardon for having sometimes written peevishly, but you will impute it to affection if you understand anything of the heart of. Yours truly, Mary. Letter 63. Tonsberg, August 9th, 1795. 5 of your letters have been sent after me. From one, dated the 14th of July, was written in a style which I may have merited, but did not expect from you. However, this is not a time to reply to it, except to assure you that you shall not be tormented with any more complaints. I am disgusted with myself for having so long importuned you with my affection. My child is very well. We shall soon meet, to part no more, I hope. I mean, I and my girl. I shall wait with some degree of anxiety till I am informed how your affairs terminate. Yours sincerely, Mary. Letter 64, Gothenburg, August 26th, 1795. I arrived here last night, and with the most exquisite delight, once more pressed my babe to my heart. We shall part no more. You perhaps cannot conceive the pleasure it gave me to see her run about and play alone. Her increasing intelligence attaches me more and more to her. I have promised her that I will fulfill my duty to her, and nothing in future shall make me forget it. I will also exert myself to obtain an independence for her, but I will not be too anxious on this head. I have already told you that I have recovered my health. Vigor and even vivacity of mind have returned with a renovated constitution. As for peace, we will not talk of it. I was not made, perhaps, to enjoy the calm contentment so termed. You tell me that my letters torture you. I will not describe the effect yours have on me. I received 3 this morning, the last dated the 7th of this month. I mean not to give vent to the emotions they produced. Certainly you are right. Our minds are not congenial. I have lived in an ideal world and fostered sentiments that you do not comprehend, or you would not treat me thus. I am not, I will not be, merely an object of compassion, a clog, however light, to tease you. Forget that I exist. I will never remind you. Something emphatical whispers me to put an end to these struggles. Be free. I will not torment when I cannot please. I can take care of my child. You need not continually tell me that our fortune is inseparable, that you will try to cherish tenderness for me. Do no violence to yourself. When we are separated, our interest, since you give so much weight to pecuniary considerations, will be entirely divided. I want not protection without affection, and support I need not, whilst my faculties are undisturbed. I had a dislike to living in England, but painful feelings must give way to superior considerations. I may not be able to acquire the sum necessary to maintain my child and self elsewhere. It is too late to go to Switzerland. I shall not remain at living expensively. But be not alarmed. I shall not force myself on you any more. Adieu. I am agitated. My whole frame is convulsed. My lips tremble, as if shook by cold, though fire seems to be circulating in my veins. God bless you. Mary. Letter 65. Copenhagen, September 6th, 1795. I received just now your letter of the 20th. I had written you a letter last night, into which imperceptibly slipped some of my bitterness of soul. I will copy the part relative to business. I am not sufficiently vain to imagine that I can, for more than a moment, cloud your enjoyment of life. To prevent even that, you had better never hear from me, and repose on the idea that I am happy. Gracious God, it is impossible for me to stifle something like resentment when I receive fresh proofs of your indifference. What I have suffered this last year is not to be forgotten. I have not that happy substitute for wisdom, insensibility, and the lively sympathies which bind me to my fellow creatures are all of a painful kind. They are the agonies of a broken heart. Pleasure and I have shaken hands. I see here nothing but heaps of ruins, and only converse with people immersed in trade and sensuality. I am weary of traveling, yet seem to have no home, no resting place to look to. I am strangely cast off. How often, passing through the rocks, I have thought, but for this child, I would lay my head on one of them and never open my eyes again. With a heart feelingly alive to all the affections of my nature, I have never met with one softer than the stone that I would fain take for my last pillow. I once thought I had, but it was all a delusion. I meet with families continually who are bound together by affection or principle, and when I am conscious that I have fulfilled the duties of my station, almost to a forgetfulness of myself, I am ready to demand, in a murmuring tone of heaven, why am I thus abandoned? I do not understand you. It is necessary for you to write more explicitly and determine on some mode of conduct. I cannot endure this suspense. Decide. Do you fear to strike another blow? We live together or eternally part. I shall not write to you again till I receive an answer to this. I must compose my tortured soul before I write on indifferent subjects. I do not know whether I write intelligibly, for my head is disturbed. But this you ought to pardon, for it is with difficulty frequently that I make out what you mean to say. You write, I suppose, at Mister's after dinner, when your head is not the clearest. And as for your heart, if you have one, I see nothing like the dictates of affection, unless a glimpse when you mention the child. Adieu. Letter 66. Hamburg, September 25th, 1795. I have just finished a letter to be given in charge to Captain, in that I complained of your silence, and expressed my surprise that 3 mails should have arrived without bringing a line for me. Since I closed it, I hear of another, and still no letter. I am laboring to write calmly. This silence is a refinement on cruelty. Had Captain remained a few days longer, I would have returned with him to England. What have I to do here? I have repeatedly written to you fully. Do you do the same, and quickly? Do not leave me in suspense. I have not deserved this of you. I cannot write. My mind is so distressed. Adieu, Mary. Letter 67. Hamburg, September 27th, 1795. When you receive this, I shall either have landed or be hovering on the British coast. Your letter of the 18th decided me. By what criterion of principle or affection you term my questions extraordinary and unnecessary, I cannot determine. You desire me to decide. I had decided. You must have had long ago 2 letters of mine, from, to the same purport, to consider. In these, God knows, there was but too much affection, and the agonies of a distracted mind were but too faithfully portrayed. What more, then, had I to say? The negative was to come from you. You had perpetually recurred to your promise of meeting me in the autumn. Was it extraordinary that I should demand a yes or no? Your letter is written with extreme harshness. Coldness I am accustomed to. In it I find not a trace of the tenderness of humanity, much less of friendship. I only see a desire to heave a load off your shoulders. I am above disputing about words. It matters not in what terms you decide. The tremendous power who formed this heart must have foreseen that in a world in which self-interest in various shapes is the principal mobile, I had little chance of escaping misery. To the fiat of fate I submit. I am content to be wretched, but I will not be contemptible. Of me you have no cause to complain, but for having had too much regard for you, for having expected a degree of permanent happiness when you only sought for a momentary gratification. I am strangely deficient in sagacity. Uniting myself to you, your tenderness seemed to make me amends for all my former misfortunes. On this tenderness and affection, with what confidence did I rest? But I leaned on a spear that has pierced me to the heart. You have thrown off a faithful friend to pursue the caprices of the moment. We certainly are differently organized, for even now, when conviction has been stamped on my soul by sorrow, I can scarcely believe it possible. It depends at present on you whether you will see me or not. I shall take no step till I see or hear from you. Preparing myself for the worst, I have determined, if your next letter be like the last, to write to Mr. to procure me an obscure lodging, and not to inform anybody of my arrival. There I will endeavor in a few months to obtain the sum necessary to take me to France. From you I will not receive any more. I am not yet sufficiently humbled to depend on your beneficence. Some people, whom my unhappiness has interested, though they know not the extent of it, will assist me to attain the object I have in view, the independence of my child. Should a peace take place, ready money will go a great way in France, and I will borrow a sum which my industry shall enable me to pay at my leisure, to purchase a small estate for my girl. The assistance I shall find necessary to complete her education I can get at an easy rate at Paris. I can introduce her to such society as she will like, and thus, securing for her all the chance for happiness which depends on me, I shall die in peace, persuaded that the felicity which has hitherto cheated my expectation will not always elude my grasp. No poor tempest-tossed mariner ever more earnestly longed to arrive at his port. Mary. I shall not come up in the vessel all the way, because I have no place to go to. Captain will inform you where I am. It is needless to add that I am not in a state of mind to bear suspense, and that I wish to see you, though it be for the last time. Letter 68. Dover, Sunday, October 4th, 1795. I wrote to you by the packet to inform you that your letter of the 18th of last month had determined me to set out with Captain. But as we sailed very quick, I take it for granted that you have not yet received it. You say I must decide for myself. I had decided that it was most for the interest of my little girl and for my own comfort, little as I expect, for us to live together. And I even thought that you would be glad some years hence, when the tumult of business was over, to repose in the society of an affectionate friend, and mark the progress of our interesting child, whilst endeavoring to be of use in the circle you at last resolved to rest in. For you cannot run about forever. From the tenor of your last letter, however, I am led to imagine that you have formed some new attachment. If it be so, let me earnestly request you to see me once more, and immediately. This is the only proof I require of the friendship you profess for me. I will then decide, since you boggle about a mere form. I am laboring to write with calmness, but the extreme anguish I feel at landing without having any friend to receive me, and even to be conscious that the friend whom I most wish to see will feel a disagreeable sensation at being informed of my arrival, does not come under the description of common misery. Every emotion yields to an overwhelming flood of sorrow, and the playfulness of my child distresses me. On her account, I wished to remain a few days here, comfortless as is my situation. Besides, I did not wish to surprise you. You have told me that you would make any sacrifice to promote my happiness, and even in your last unkind letter, you talk of the ties which bind you to me and my child. Tell me that you wish it, and I will cut this Gordian knot. I now most earnestly entreat you to write to me without fail by the return of the post. Direct your letter to be left at the post office, and tell me whether you will come to me here or where you will meet me. I can receive your letter on Wednesday morning. Do not keep me in suspense. I expect nothing from you or any human being. My die is cast. I have fortitude enough to determine to do my duty, yet I cannot raise my depressed spirits or calm my trembling heart. That being who molded it thus knows that I am unable to tear up by the roots the propensity to affection which has been the torment of my life. But life will have an end. Should you come here, a few months ago I could not have doubted it, you will find me at. If you prefer meeting me on the road, tell me where. Yours affectionately, Mary. Letter 69. London, November 1795. I write to you now on my knees, imploring you to send my child and the maid with to Paris, to be consigned to the care of Madame Rue Section de. Should they be removed, can give their direction. Let the maid have all my clothes, without distinction. Pray pay the cook her wages, and do not mention the confession which I forced from her. A little sooner or later is of no consequence. Nothing but my extreme stupidity could have rendered me blind so long. Yet, whilst you assured me that you had no attachment, I thought we might still have lived together. I shall make no comments on your conduct, or any appeal to the world. Let my wrongs sleep with me. Soon, very soon, shall I be at peace. When you receive this, my burning head will be cold. I would encounter 1,000 deaths rather than a night like the last. Your treatment has thrown my mind into a state of chaos, yet I am serene. I go to find comfort, and my only fear is that my poor body will be insulted by an endeavor to recall my hated existence. But I shall plunge into the Thames where there is the least chance of my being snatched from the death I seek. God bless you. May you never know by experience what you have made me endure. Should your sensibility ever awake, remorse will find its way to your heart, and in the midst of business and sensual pleasure, I shall appear before you, the victim of your deviation from rectitude. Mary. Letter 70. London, November 1795, Sunday morning. I have only to lament that when the bitterness of death was past, I was inhumanly brought back to life and misery. But a fixed determination is not to be baffled by disappointment, nor will I allow that to be a frantic attempt, which was one of the calmest acts of reason. In this respect, I am only accountable to myself. Did I care for what is termed reputation? It is by other circumstances that I should be dishonored. You say that you know not how to extricate ourselves out of the wretchedness into which we have been plunged. You are extricated long since, but I forbear to comment. If I am condemned to live longer, it is a living death. It appears to me that you lay much more stress on delicacy than on principle, for I am unable to discover what sentiment of delicacy would have been violated by your visiting a wretched friend, if, indeed, you have any friendship for me. But since your new attachment is the only thing sacred in your eyes, I am silent. Be happy. My complaints shall never more damp your enjoyment. Perhaps I am mistaken in supposing that even my death could, for more than a moment. This is what you call magnanimity. It is happy for yourself that you possess this quality in the highest degree. You're continually asserting that you will do all in your power to contribute to my comfort, when you only allude to pecuniary assistance, appears to me a flagrant breach of delicacy. I want not such vulgar comfort, nor will I accept it. I never wanted but your heart. That gone, you have nothing more to give. Had I only poverty to fear, I should not shrink from life. Forgive me, then, if I say that I shall consider any direct or indirect attempt to supply my necessities as an insult which I have not merited, and as rather done out of tenderness for your own reputation than for me. Do not mistake me. I do not think that you value money. Therefore, I will not accept what you do not care for, though I do much less, because certain privations are not painful to me. When I am dead, respect for yourself will make you take care of the child. I write with difficulty. Probably I shall never write to you again. Adieu. God bless you. Mary. Thank you for being here and sharing this journey with me. I'll see you in the next part, here on She Reads Tales.